What's going on, everyone? It's the Niskel. Welcome back to Resident Evil Remake. One final bonus episode to go. Invisible Enemy Mode. I saved the best and hardest for last. Invisible Enemy Mode is a lot different because you can choose a difficulty setting. And I'll get to the different changes. And since Jill got Real Survival, Chris gets Invisible Enemy Mode. Now, there is a specific reason I chose Chris for Invisible Enemy. I was tossing each character and seeing which one would survive the best in each scenario, and Chris won in Invisible Enemy, because for one, he can take more hits.
Only 3 stars,
now, I have played this game many times, especially for this LP, so if you want to know where the enemies are, play. Play the game multiple times, play as much as you can, because you're going to need to know where these guys are. Now, Invisible Enemy Mode. Title says it all. But there's one problem with Invisible Enemy Mode. And it'll become apparent as soon as we come up to the very first zombie once again. Again, I just really like this cutscene. It's very well put together. So deadly. Sorry, Kenneth. Every single monster is transparent. And the other bad thing, which is kind of obvious, auto-aim is turned off. This mode is so difficult. And if you want to be an absolute sadist, or not sadist, I can't remember the other word for it, but if you really want to hurt yourself, play this on hard mode. It's not fun. Playing on normal mode is just enough, because my normal playthroughs that I did for the Let's Play, you have the exact items and healing items and everything else in Invisible Enemy Mode if you choose normal. The difficulties and everything that comes with it, like the ammo and healing items, carries over to the difficulty you chose for Invisible Enemy. It's just that all the enemies you can't see. You're going to have to go with sound. And there's a few other tells as to where enemies are, but the main thing is, you want to play this where you can hear everything. And I can't see it. You also have to go for visual cues as well. See, auto-aim is turned off, and the only way I would know where that zombie was is by randomly shooting. Now, I could hear him down the hall, and I now know where he is thanks to the blood splatter. That's one of the major tells. Look for the blood. If you manage to get a hit, you'll hear the impact of the bullet, and you'll see the blood. Then you'll know where the enemies are, and then you can go from there. Like, you can try for a headshot, you can keep shooting it down. And this mode is so freaking difficult. Now, what's the reason I chose Chris? Mainly because he hasn't had much time in the sun. Jill got Real Survivor, and so Chris was going to get Invisible Enemy. But that's not the only reason. Like I said earlier, he can take twice as many hits. That's good for this if you don't know where all the enemies are. It sucks about the inventory, but you get over it really fast. And the other thing about Invisible Enemy are the mirrors. I have a strange feeling that this game was planned around Invisible Enemy Mode because all the mirrors are strategically placed. Another thing you can try with invisible enemies is, if you know they're in front of you based on sound, shoot a bullet or use the knife and try to slash at them. Certain enemy situations, like the one out here, where these zombies will never come back, you can probably kill these with your handgun bullets or your shotgun shells, whatever, what have you. But just saving as much ammo as you can, mainly the big ammo. Handgun ammo is very... it shows up a lot in the normal playthrough and the easy playthrough, so you shouldn't have much trouble having handgun ammo. You just want to save the shotgun ammo. Okay, I just added this scene because I thought it was a little funny. Especially with invisible enemies. Check this out. Blah! There's nothing! The door just opened. It's a haunted house! No! I just thought that was a little funny. Alright, so I've shown you some hints as to how to get around all these invisible enemies. The other thing is just placement. no enemy has changed its position. You can lure them into the same traps I showed you during the Let's Play. Like that zombie there, you lead him up the stairs and you can go around him. All those tricks still work. I'm also happy to note that if you're playing this as Jill, the grenade launcher glitch still works. All your enemies, all your items are still here. Nothing has moved, so it's not like real survival. The only way it's like real survival is because of the no auto-aim. That's the only bad thing about this. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. You basically got to get a feel for where all the enemies are and just be sure to listen. Another thing you can do, if you want to find an enemy really quickly, run right up to him and put in a dagger. There's a placeholder. Now you know where he is. Another thing you can also look out for are items on enemies, like the dogs. If you want to find where these dogs are, just look for the leash. Now, the other one, that's a bit more difficult. Try to have him grab onto your arm, that way you'll know he's in front of you. But at this section of the game, you can get a hit as much as you want because those green herbs heal you completely. And there we go, that's one of the more difficult parts. Just go over here to some green herbs and you'll be fully healed again. Believe it or not, the easiest enemy to find in Invisible Enemy mode is the one I feared the most. The Crimson Heads. They are very easy to find because the mirrors and, of course, their breath. If you see some floating breath, run! You're about to be attacked by a Crimson Head. It's not fun. But at least you can see. Okay, skipped ahead a bit here just to show how the mirrors can really help you. It's really weird that invisible enemies would show up on a mirror, but then again, there's me, picking apart video game logic. It is definitely helpful to look for any mirrors in the mansion. Now, what other little tells can you get? Shadows. Some rooms and outdoor areas are well lit enough so that you can see shadows. Also, water. You can see reflections of enemies in water, and you can also see them shuffling through water if they actually show up, and the situation calls for it. So there's a lot of things you can look for, and it actually makes a lot of sense. Like, the reflections don't make too much sense, but the water and the shadows kind of make sense. Alright, let's actually get to some bosses. Here we go, we're gonna fight Yawn now. Now, the thing about the bosses is if they have a cutscene to show them off, they will show up in the cutscene and immediately disappear. This is how you know where they are. So it's more a little hint than anything else as to where the enemy is, so you're not going in absolutely blind. So it is a little helpful. Alright, our first actual boss that we have to fight and kill, Sir Trevor. Let's go. I fought you in real survival mode and you were a piece of cake. How about this time? Well, sad to say you don't get Richard's shotgun yet, but you do have a shotgun at the very least, so let's try to take this guy down. Now, he's not a regular Crimson Head like I mentioned in real survival. I kind of misled you. He runs a lot faster and doesn't stop as much as the other Crimson Heads. He also does a lot more damage and grapples you a lot more. So really you just need to run him around and try to figure out which way is front and not miss. Pretty much as soon as he grabs you, you'll know exactly where he is and just keep firing. Trust me, you do not want to stop because you will lose him. Getting hurt is kind of okay in Invisible Enemy mode because it will happen a lot, trust me. But there are plenty of healing items, just don't waste them. Try to go as long as you can without healing just so you can get every ounce of healing out of each item. Okay, this one's kind of silly. Plant 42, invisible. The pod is still there. So it's not 100% invisible, but all the tentacles are invisible. Which is kind of silly. Because the tentacles could hit you basically from anywhere while you're up here. So having the bulb still visible makes this a pretty easy boss to know where the weak point is. So, I guess they were going with what they had. You know, a boss that's as big as this. Well, how are we going to make that completely invisible and make it difficult? Well, it kind of did. And by the way, being on the stairs actually helps a bit more. You'll still get hit by the tentacles, or at the very least the poison. But it still helps to be over here because you'll get hit a bit less. Yeah, see, there's the poison. It can hit me even on the stairs, so it's pretty good to just run around, try not to get hit too much. It's going to happen, you're going to get hit, but if you're playing on normal or easy, this boss should not give you any troubles. If you're playing on hard, what the hell's wrong with you? Now, I know a lot of people who love a good challenge, but this is just... Ooh, it's ungodly, it's devilish, it's terrible. But there we go. Plant 42 goes down in no time. By this point, you should have a lot of handgun ammo, unless you used it all, which that is okay, because there is actually plenty of ammo for normal and easy modes. So, Plant 42, you can take it down with either the bullets or the shotgun. Take your pick. Alright, round 2, Yawn, bring it on. So there is no tell as to where he is, but actually, each boss has a significant hint to help you find it. Like Yawn, the poison in his mouth. That's one of the things you want to look for, and also, there's kind of like an aura coming off of his body, and after you get a few shots on him, you can look for a trail of blood. That is one of the bigger tells. And this is also one of those situations where you want to be listening. You probably can't hear Yawn over my commentary, and I'll be quiet for a little bit just so you can try and figure out where he is. But do the same strategy as in real survival mode. Do not knife fight this snake in invisible enemy mode. It's very difficult. So just go with the regular strategy. After you shoot him a while, look for the blood trail, look for the poison in his mouth, look for the dust he kicks up. I guess that's what that is on the floor that his body kicks up. He picks up a lot of dust. And also when he goes lunging after you, more dust shows up, like right there. So I want you to see if you can find Yawn. I'll chime in if I have to, but let's see if you can figure out which side Yawn is going to show up at. Let me tell you, it's not easy. When he raises his head, poison will fall out of his mouth, so it's a lot easier to find where his mouth is when he's going up for a very heavy attack. So, it's a little more dangerous, but having him get ready for one of his really powerful attacks is actually helpful to you in invisible enemy mode. Oh! Ow! Oh, this is bad. Also, bring a lot of ammo. For some reason, Yawn was taking so much firepower in this run that I actually thought I was going to have to reset because I didn't think I'd have enough. But eventually, after you out-trick the invisible snake, you'll eventually figure it out. And finally kill the giant snake. And he becomes visible just to die. What a way to go. Alright, Black Tiger. Here we go. As usual, boss with a cutscene will show you where it is, and then it'll disappear. Something kind of funny is when I recorded this, I actually forgot the little spiders were going to come down, so I actually thought they never showed up. And then I remembered, oh yeah, invisible enemies. So with Chris's campaign, this is one of the other reasons why I picked him, is because he gets the flamethrower, and that kills Black Tiger in no time. Look, already dead. You can tell by the cry. And that's it. Black Tiger is dead already. Didn't have to waste a single bullet. And, of course, I run out of fire. Amazing. So now I need to go work around my items just so I can get to the next boss. Lisa Trevor. By the way, that underground maze with Lisa actually isn't as bad as you think. If you can trick out her AI by going down one of the hallways where she'll appear, you just go down the opposing hallway and there you go. You've run completely around her. The bad part about this is, Wesker never friggin' fires when you want him to. Neither does Barry during this fight, actually. So you just have to run around and just hope to God she's nowhere near you. Like, finally Wesker shot her, and she's over here, so I need to make sure I don't get hit off the ledge. I can understand, though. Wesker is kind of a genius when it comes to shooting invisible monsters. I'm actually really surprised he can shoot her, because I would never be able to find her. But after the four block, I guess you'd call them, falls to the ground, the boss fight is over. Okay, Tyrant time. Now, I want you to realize that there is a way to figure out where the Tyrant is and not get hit by him. There is actually liquid on the floor from when he broke out of his test tube, and the reflection off of the other test tubes actually shows up, and you can see him on the reflecting floor. That is brilliant! Like, going through this boss fight, I actually thought this was going to be a really hard fight, and then I realized that you can just lead him around in this one big circle, take a few shots on the opposite end, or pretend you're trying to shoot Rebecca, and you'll be able to see the Tyrant on the floor. That is just... that's amazing to me. I'm surprised they went for that much detail and actually figured out a way for you to see your enemy. Because sometimes enemies' attack animation will have them show up for a brief period of time. Not for this Tyrant. He does not show up at all. And he's dead already. Oh yeah, the one bad thing, since all your enemies are invisible, so are their corpses. So if you ever wanted to burn zombie bodies, you're going to have to remember where the bodies fell. Where that pool of blood showed up. That's where they are. Oh, one boss left. The Tyrant on the roof. I think you can tell I haven't been looking forward to this very much. Real survival mode is nothing compared to this. In Real Survivor, you just had to aim. In Invisible Enemy mode, you have to find the Tyrant. So, let's do it. Let's dance, Tyrant, wherever you may be. Rebecca's a good indicator as to where the Tyrant is, except for when you lose track of him and shoot at him a lot. The blood splatters, good way to figure out where the Tyrant is, because, believe it or not, that light does not cast a shadow for the Tyrant. It worked every other time, so why not this time? Now, the cool thing about it is, if he picks you or Rebecca up, he shows himself. That is so helpful. I guess they kind of wanted to make it not as impossible. So, the Tyrant shows up when it picks somebody up. It doesn't show up when it attacks, which is kind of jerkish, but Rebecca can help. Oh, I got him. Okay. Oh, here's the bad part now. I don't think I ever showed this off very well. The rocket launcher only has 4 shots. And you can miss. It's not like Resident Evil 4 where you can shoot anywhere and the rocket immediately blows up Sadler. No, you actually have to aim, and you can miss all 4 shots. Come on, where is he? Oh, no! Right in front of me. Go figure. Or maybe he was across the way and I just couldn't see. Oh, danger. Okay, let's go try here. No! Swing and a miss. So I've only got 3 shots left. Oh, no! Well, at least now I know where he is. Right in front of my face. And I've actually never seen this before. Oh! Stun grenade. Or flash grenade. Whatever those are. That's pretty cool. So he's right in front of me. Yes! Okay. As soon as you shoot him the first time, he'll be right in the same place. Just don't move, please. There we go. Invisible enemy mode is done. Hardest mode in the game, done.
Chris,
Believe it or not, it is worth your while for beating invisible enemy mode quickly. Beat it in under 5 hours, and you get a special surprise from the dev team. Aw, thanks. But that's not all. You also get 2 hidden messages. A message from the director, from Shinji Mikami himself, basically saying, you're pretty awesome. You fought through every single mode in Resident Evil. You found all the secrets. You've beaten the game multiple times, faster if you had to. You went through invisible enemy mode. You beat it in under 5 hours. You're a pretty cool dude. So I would say that this is a pretty good incentive to beat invisible enemy mode and to beat it quickly. Because if you're good at speedrunning Resident Evil, you'll be good at speedrunning invisible enemy mode, because nothing has changed except for all the enemies. And now here's the really cool thing. Concept art for the costumes they wanted to use, but thought were too stupid. Yes, Chris does have a shirt off and there's a big tattoo on it. He just looks so silly in that. Ooh, anybody play Resident Evil 5 recently? That looks familiar. I wouldn't mind a teacher outfit. That'd be pretty awesome. And then casual. And what? Okay. And then different designs for Rebecca, for her alternate costumes. A lot of these are actually just recolors of her original outfit in Resident Evil. Giving her, like, really short shorts and making it pink. And then the other designs for the cowboy outfit. So there we go. That's the last bonus episode of Resident Evil Remake. But since you loved it in Zero, let's do a speed run with both characters.